For those who have been following our coverage here of the Epstein files and our coverage of Epstein survivors, you know that I had done a lot of reporting on a survivor by the name of Anushka de Georgia. And from the years of 1993 on for about 6 years, where the sexual abuse, physical abuse, violence was at its worst, Jeffrey Epstein, his co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, engaged in horrors to Anushka de Georgia. I want to bring on Anushka because after I reported on Anushka and I met and I wanted to, and we started having conversations about the files well before they were produced and the importance to the community of survivors to these documents being released. Anushka, it's an honor to have you here and to have you be able to tell your story on our platform, which I think is really important. I want to take people back and I want to hear from you about, those years, what's happened since then, the prosecutions, the arrests. But let's just start with where we are right now, as we are in early February. A partial release of the Epstein files was released last week on Friday, 3 million documents. We know there's still more that are being concealed and covered up, which could be tens of millions of pages because the documents have multiple pages. Trump's Department of Justice says they're not going to be releasing anything, that they're done. They have not produced a report about their redactions or why they are withholding certain documents and producing others. And the survivors, including yourself, have come forward and talked about the re-traumatization by this Trump Department of Justice, where they provide identifying information, personal information about you and other survivors that can be read in these files when they had one job, which was to protect the identity of survivors. So with that, just to build that foundation, I just want to hear from you first about your reaction to the partial release of the files and the way Donald Trump's Department of Justice has handled it and Trump's statements.
Okay, thank you so much, Ben, and I really appreciate you covering this and being so compassionate towards myself and my fellow survivors. The recent dump of files, I'm just kind of horrified by, and it's a kind of re-traumatization that, in some ways, because the worst, the actual experiencing it is over, experiencing the abuse. But the fact that the very people who are meant to lead this country, who are meant to protect the innocent and the vulnerable and stand up for those